Thank you, Melanie. What I will begin with is talking about, basically what I will be talking about is the unionization of waste pickers in Pune and how, although the starting point of the presentation is what Melanie spoke about, of integration of waste pickers into solid waste management, what actually we tried to do in Pune was to address challenges within the solid waste management system itself. So it is drawing from what Hilary Wainwright has written about public sector unions taking on transformation of water, for example. In this case, an informal workers union actually led the transformation of solid waste management in Pune. Now, I actually would like to begin at the point where, the union was established in 1993 and waste pickers were unionized, got some form of recognition in the form of identity cards from the municipal body, and some kind of welfare benefits in terms of medical insurance from the state, paid for by the state. Now this was a precedent setting. The way that the union has worked is not to work with the law, is not to change the law and then get into implementation, but rather to set precedents and then codify them try and codify them into policy. So therefore, when we look at, but the topic here is actually solid waste management. And therefore, when we look at solid waste management in 2006, just before the cooperative of waste pickers was set up, we find that a lot of the problems that were existing in public management systems, Pune has a very strong, vertically integrated municipal workers union. Waste collection is not privatized in Pune. Even today, it is not. But however, the system did not work for various reasons to the extent that it ought to have, which is something that we do find with public systems. Some of the problems are listed here. And parallelly, first of all, the formal system did not undertake any recovery or recycling. The approach was just collection, transport, disposal. That was the approach used. And it is the informal sector that actually carried out recovery and recycling. And this kind of presents the summary of various studies that were carried out by academic bodies and the union in the city, where there was an attempt to look at exactly what kind of contribution the informal sector, waste pickers and the trade and made to recycling enterprises and to reduction of municipal costs and so on. And then to claim entitlements from the government, to claim integration spaces from the government. Now, there are three actually groups within this. Three groups of citizens that actually determined a lot of the changes that took place. One was the landfill-affected villagers. In India, increasingly, and in the state that I come from, increasingly there is a movement against landfills. And the villagers around landfills are no longer willing to get waste dumped in their areas. So there was a movement of landfill-affected villagers that dovetailed with an increasing number of civil society organizations that were concerned with waste services and the demand for good services. And it also dovetailed with the waste pickers trade union's demand for integration of waste pickers. So it's actually who drove these transformation, this kind of transformative process was these three groups of citizens. Now, the municipal trade union actually, when we did propose that it's a 60-year-old trade union, like I said, vertically integrated, left party dominated trade union, clearly saw the constitution of a cooperative that was being proposed by the trade union as an attempt to privatize. Actually, that space occupied by the cooperative was never serviced by the municipal body at all. It was a vacant space. That space was created by municipal solid waste rules that came into existence in the year 2000. So when the waste picker cooperative suggested door-to-door collection of waste as a space that it would occupy, the municipal union resisted first. and then went on to say that the children of municipal workers would also like to occupy that space. So there was an ambivalent stand by the union. At one level it opposed it, at another level it tried to enter as a competitor, in a manner of speaking, which the Waste Pickers Trade Union did not mind. I mean, ultimately, today 200 children of municipal workers also are engaged in the cooperative. The other group that was there was waste management companies that really played a role, and that's where really, like Melanie said, waste management companies have a very great interest in this whole thing. In terms of the issues, we look at different kinds of issues where different kinds of choices were involved in what had to be done. In terms of proposed changes to the system, what was proposed was that waste would be collected by the workers' cooperative. It would be taken to material recovery centers. Decentralized waste management was one of the things that was proposed because we saw no reason for dumping in landfills. And strengthening of scrap markets and recycling units were also proposed, and decentralized composting and so on. Restructuring of the municipal system was also one of the things that was proposed, and it was carried out. The stars indicate that some attempt was made to change those, to create a separate department which was not there initially. So now we come to the cooperative itself, which is called SWACH, which in the Indian language means clean. And in English it's an acronym for solid waste collection and handling. The cooperative is supported by the municipal body through a formal arrangement with a memorandum of understanding, where the municipal body pays for the management costs towards the management costs of the cooperative, and it pays for equipment and infrastructure. Now, what were some of the challenges that came up in this? First of all, that elected representatives, for them it was a dream. I mean, it's every elected representative's dream to have somebody going to each door every morning. And the fact that they lost control over that because of this cooperative, that they themselves agreed to set up, it suddenly dawned on them, and therefore there has been let's say support and support pullback every so often. So this goes on, this battle. There's also that a lot of intense competition from weight-based models. That waste, as we know, is paid for by weight in most contracts, and that lobby is extremely strong and keeps coming back to try and push the cooperative away. Here, while I say that it's maintaining a non-confrontational relationships, in very many ways there has been attempts to, let's look at it like this. As long as Waste Pickers were unionized, the union was able to fight the municipal body, saying that you pay us nothing, we are doing you a favor. Yeah? The moment you get into a relationship, like a formal arrangement, then the municipal body is telling you that we are paying towards your benefits, so therefore we don't owe you anything else. Yeah? So it kind of dims the fight. But however, this model is constructed in such a manner that the citizens are actually paying for the service. It is not the municipal body that pays for the service actually. The waste pickers are paid by the users whom they service. And therefore, that again creates a plus side because the municipal body can never say that the workers have to get out because they are not being paid by the municipal body. So therefore, it again gives them bargaining ability. In terms of extension of coverage to low-income areas, there's been a problem. Now, if you look at it from various parameters of equity, accountability, quality of service, and efficiency, something that was discussed this morning, SWACH actually services only 54% of the city. About 25% of the city consists of slum dwellers, and the service was supposed to be subsidized by the municipal body, but it has never paid that subsidy. Therefore, only 19% of the slum population is serviced today for door-to-door collection, which does not mean that they do not get solid waste management services. It means that the municipal body provides them municipal skips to collect the materials. There's citizen participation in various ways. There are formal ward committees that are not necessarily representative, but they are there. And there's a grievance redress system that is in place. In terms of the most dramatic changes have actually come in the quality of the workplace for the waste picker, where there is a recognition and formal space within the system, assured access to recyclables, and although the municipal body was supposed to provide welfare benefits, they did not in the first cycle of 5 years. But the next cycle of 5 years, which is due to commence, will be predicated on this. I mean, this will be one of the major demands and will go through. It's a user fee-based model, and that essentially it's a worker-owned cooperative, and therefore it is almost more than 50% of the staff of the cooperative, the paid staff, the employees, are children or relatives of the members. So if their children, the educated children of members have come into management positions within the cooperative. Essentially the model is looking at low carbon footprint, low infrastructure, and does not rely too much on machinery. And if we look at the gains in terms of what accrues to waste pickers and to the city, we find that whereas prior to this, there was no, in this system, there was no input from the municipality at all. They functioned independently, the two systems, they were parallel. Whereas today, the municipality is has put in, over the past 5 years, 40 million rupees has invested money in this informal enterprise. Waste pickers earn a minimum of 90 million rupees from user fees that goes directly to them. They pay 5% to the cooperative towards maintenance costs. The city additionally invests into informal workers for equipment, sorting areas, workplaces we call them actually, material recovery centers, and in terms of the avoided carbon dioxide emissions and so on, the returns to the municipality are in the region of 71 million per year, and savings in US dollars of 50 million per year from diversion of recyclables into recycling. So these are the kinds of returns that we see from this cooperative, which is actually, one could argue that, I mean, there could be ways of arguing saying that this is a private model, which it is. But I would really say that it is the insourcing of the private sector, because the recycling was never carried out by the public sector. So therefore, actually it is the public that has invited, or rather the private that has forced itself into an arrangement with the municipal body, and that's how it functions. Now this system does not function absolutely perfectly, but one of the greatest things that has come out of this, which waste pickers continually raise, is the fact of dignity, the fact of recognition, and I would, just before I finish, would like to flag that caste and waste are extremely closely linked. And in my paper I've covered it extensively as to whether upgrading of this occupation actually reproduces caste and gender, because both are material in this. So therefore, whether it reproduces caste is something that we need to address ourselves to. As far as the union is concerned, the union has promoted education in a big way, higher education in a big way, taken stands against child marriage. So it has, like, I think Hilary Wainwright has also written that all these attempts have come out of social movements. They are a larger social movement and not only to do with workers and their own interests. And therefore I think, so I would end here and the rest we